Hello and welcome back to another episode from Forward Cameras, and today we're going to feature one of my personal favorite cameras, the Rolleiflex Automat, produced in the late 40s. It's probably 1947. This is a Model 1 because, an early Model 1 because you notice the top doesn't have the square, which would normally open up so you could see through it like a viewfinder. A lot of Rolleiflex work very similarly to this camera, so I'm going to use this as the model to demonstrate, and we're going to talk about how to use it, how to load film. This camera is a fully manual camera without an internal light meter, so that means that you would need to use your cell phone light meter or an external light meter or just Sunny 16 rule in order to be able to take photos with proper exposure. So let's begin. This camera has a front cover for the two lenses. It's called a twin lens reflex camera. The reason why is because there are two coupled lenses, the lens that takes the photo on the bottom and the lens on the top, which you get to see through. So let's open this up and I'll show you. So when you get this, sometimes this lens cap is a little finicky, and that happens sometimes if the little metal part pops out, and that's okay. So I'll put that on the side. So notice that there's two lenses. This is a Carl Zeiss lens. This is the lens that is the better lens. This is the lens that you're going to see through. And the way that we actually compose a photo is through the top. It's a waist level viewfinder, and basically what that means is you're not going to look through it with your eyes. You're going to look down from the waist level. And on the top, notice that there's a little hinge here on the back. Well, if I press down that hinge, this pops out, and this is your waist level viewfinder. So you would be holding this waist level and looking downwards into the viewfinder to compose your photos. It produces square photos, and it's a really cool format. I really love it because, number one, it fits well on Instagram. Number two, it makes things a little bit more different than what you're probably used to with the not so square photos. It also has a little magnifying glass here that pops outward, so you could look downwards, kind of see your photo, compose your photo a little clearer. So we could put that up or put that back down like that. Another feature of this camera is if you wanted to look through the eyepiece instead of looking down waist level. So imagine it's really bright outside, it's hard to see through your waist level viewfinder, you want to look through here. Well, you pop this up and notice that it shields it from the light. You would look through this eyepiece here just like you would with any normal camera, and you can compose your photo. However, the only problem with that is it becomes upside down, so that might be a little confusing. So I usually keep it like this and shield it from light with my hand. However, a majority of the time I don't have that problem. So I'm gonna pop down the viewfinder because it fits better in our movie. They have a little chart here, but this is for very, very slow film, because this is made in the 1940s, so you could use it if you use very, very slow film, but I would just use an external light meter for your exposures. You could hook up your camera strap here and on the other side if you'd like. I have a leather case. They made a lot of leather cases for this camera. They're very nice. You could probably get it for a good $30, $40 on eBay. And the most important parts are these two knobs here. So this knob and this knob. And what those are responsible for are your aperture and your shutter speed. It's a fully manual camera, so you're going to be changing aperture and shutter speed. Rolleiflex is a German camera, and it's been around for the brand has been around for a very, very long time. Unfortunately, the camera brand just went out of business probably back in 2013. And so they don't produce cameras anymore, but their cameras are absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend them because they produce high quality photos, and the optics are high quality, and all the mechanisms are fantastic. So if you get one of these cameras, you're gonna love it. Another thing on the front that you'll notice is this little switch over here, and basically what that does is if you switch that, you could put this on a tripod, crank it, and then it's a time release, so you could take photos of yourself with friends if you just set it for a little bit. So now I'm going to flip the camera over. I'm going to zoom in a little bit over here so you can see. Notice that if you're looking down through here to compose your photo, it's a little hard if this wasn't there, because this tells you the top is the shutter speed and the bottom will be your aperture. So watch what happens when I move this dial here. So notice the shutter speed gets slower and slower. So now it's at 1 second, and then if I push it all the way, it goes to bulb mode. And bulb mode means that if it's a nighttime photo or you want long exposures, you could hold the camera open for however long you want, but 1 second, half a second, all the way up. On this camera, it goes all the way up to 500th of a second. So if it's kind of bright outside, this is an older camera, so back in the 40s, that probably would have been quite fast. And then the bottom is your f-stop or your aperture. And here we have 22, which is a really, really small aperture. And the aperture is basically this little hole in the lens that kind of like a little hole that lets in less light or more light, depending upon your lighting situation. So 22 big numbers are very tiny, but we could change it by rotating the left knob, and you could change your f-stop that way. So it's very convenient. You could look down, but again, you need to have a external light meter for this particular model. Some of them had built-in light meters. Some in the 1960s also had aperture priority, which basically means it kind of functions like an automatic camera. Not this one. This one is a fully manual, but they had Rolleiflex cameras that were Rolleiflex with and aperture priority, really interesting. So let's take a look at how to load some film. So, oh yeah, but one more thing. This is your focusing knob. So notice as I focus, both lenses focus together. So you're not looking, it's not an SLR where you're looking through the lens that's taking the photograph. You're actually looking through the top lens, but both lenses focus together so that when you look down here, you should, unless you're super, super close to your subject, be able to really kind of tell what you're taking a photo of and compose it properly with focus. So it's not a rangefinder where you're not looking through, it's not a rangefinder, it's a twin lens reflex, right? Two lenses. And this is your shutter. So right now, the shutter button is locked. It has this little lock, so I put it in my backpack or whatever. I'm going to put this on so it doesn't take a photo. I'm going to open this up, and then when I want to take a photo, I press that down. This over here, if you want to have a cable release, you plug your cable release in there for long exposures, or if you're on a tripod and you want to take a photo of you and your friends. You could get an external cable that plugs in there and you go and it closes the shutter. And then the last thing actually I want to talk about is how to crank the camera. So when you use medium format 120 film in this camera, Rolleiflex created another camera called the Baby Rolleiflex, and that used 127 film. 120 film, the one that this one uses, is the more common, and it's a lot easier to find 120 film. 127 film is readily available online. However, you're only going to find it in ISO 100 or ASA 100, black and white. So it's always better to go with the 120, but they're both the camera that is cheaper is actually the one that takes the 127. These tend to be more expensive. So if I were to use this, it has this convenient Rolleiflex device, right? This is kind of a lever that I wind the film to the next frame. And so I wind it and then it comes back and then it's going to lock in place and then you'll be able to take a photo. So if I were to press down, it would take a photo. Okay. And to open it up, to load it with some film, it has a locking mechanism on the bottom of the camera. So notice the arrow. So I'm gonna push this to the arrow, and then this pops, and you see this little metal thing, you push this out, and the back will come off. Okay, so take a look on the inside. Notice that that's the lens that is going to take your photo. So if I were to try to load this camera with 120 film, I would put my film on the bottom, feed it through inside those two rollers. If you feed it above the roller, something bad happens. It doesn't keep track of how many photos you've taken, and you're gonna have a lot of issues. You have to put the film through these two rollers around the back into the top roller, and then you're going to crank it, and I use Kodak Tri-X 120 or Ektar or a bunch of different Portra, a bunch of different stuff for 120, and there's going to be an arrow on the back of the film that will align perfectly over here. And when that's done, you're going to close your camera and lock it over here and lock it back here, and then you're ready to take photos. The reason why it's called the Rolleiflex is because, well, you guessed it, you roll it, and then it's here, and then you're done for the first photo. This will tell you photo 1, photo 2, photo 3, depending upon your size. We have square photos, so there'll be 12. And so, to take a photo, you set your shutter speed, I don't know, 500, 3.5 f-stop, and then you would hear that. I press the shutter button, I'll do it again. So, roll it, push it down. This will, when there's film inside, only when there's film inside will this change number for number of photos, and you press it. Oh, took a photo. Make sure that you're composing the photo inside your viewfinder. One of the magical things about medium format and Rolleiflex is that you feel almost as if you're there, because when you're looking through a viewfinder, the viewfinder is not interrupted as if you're using an SLR where the mirror flips up and down, and so for part of the time you're not going to be able to see. But throughout, it doesn't matter whether you press your shutter or not, you're always going to see what the camera is going to see over here, and it's as if you were there right with the photo, right inside the photo, which is kind of a really cool feeling. When you're done, once you go past 12 here, you're just going to keep rolling all the way, and it's not going to have any tension anymore, and the film will be up here. Again, you just kind of open it up, pop it open, and it unlocks, and your film will be up there unloaded in shady conditions or inside. You don't want to do it in super bright sunlight because 120 is not in a spool, so it's kind of like a little bit more exposed than it would normally be. One other cool thing about this camera is that you can get plenty of adapters for it. One of the coolest ones is, I think it's called Rolleiflex, and basically that allows you to use 35mm film in this instead of 120, which is more convenient for some people. Another cool one is a tripod mount that you could put this on the tripod for panoramas, and it precisely aligns the camera for each and every one of the panorama shots. So you have a huge 120 medium format of a nice landscape or a group of friends or whatever it is you want to take a panorama of, and it will take beautiful images. So overall, that's how you use the Rolleiflex. It's pretty simple, and it is one of the best cameras. The other thing is, you could put attachments. See, notice that they have these metal attachments here. There are lens hoods you could pop on. There are also filters you could pop on. Some cameras allow you to put telephoto, right? All sorts of cool stuff on there as well. And that's about it. So thank you for watching. Please feel free to check out our Etsy shop, click the links, and also join and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Instagram, and our Twitter. Thank you. Take care.